Hey everyone, welcome to a deep dive you won't soon forget. We're cracking open Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, diving headfirst into Book 3.
And just so you know, this isn't some dry history lesson.
No way! It's way more exciting than that. Picture this. Roman emperor, at the top of his game, jotting down his personal notes on, well, how to live a better life.
It's like we snuck into the most powerful self-help journal in history.
And get this, his advice. Still relevant today. We're talking timeless wisdom on building rock-solid morals, an unshakable mindset, even finding some peace in this crazy world.
Which, let's face it, we could all use a bit of that. Aurelius gets right to the point too, no fluff. In sections 7 and 8, he dives straight into the deep end with a question: what's really the most valuable thing?
See, I love that he cuts right to the chase. He's not talking about just being, like, superficially nice. He's talking about cultivating true inner goodness.
It's that unshakable core, right?
Yeah, built on things like reason, justice, honesty, self-control, those virtues that have, like, stood the test of time.
Exactly. It's about aligning your priorities with what outlasts us. Because fame, wealth, pleasure, those fade away. Poof, gone. Exactly. But a strong character, that stays with you no matter what.
He even says we should, like, straight up reject anything that makes us break our word, even if it seems like a good deal at the time. It makes you think, does cutting corners or sacrificing your integrity for a quick win ever really pay off in the long run?
Aurelius would say absolutely not. He's all about living with integrity where your actions line up with what you believe in, and that's how you build that inner strength. What's so interesting is that he ties this directly to living with less regret, fear, less need for everyone else's approval.
Imagine that. What a relief that would be. It's like he's describing this ideal state of being, you know? The one who's not constantly chasing after desires or running from fear. They just weather any storm life throws at them.
He actually describes a truly good person as living in an inner citadel of virtue. Which sounds pretty amazing, right?
Totally. But how do we actually get there? How do we build that kind of unshakable inner goodness? Aurelius, of course, has an answer. He says we need to cultivate a disciplined mind. In sections 9 and 10, he really gets into the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, and he doesn't sugarcoat it. He's talking about keeping our minds free from, like, foul thoughts, impure thoughts.
Yeah.
No festering.
Intense.
Right? It's about being genuine in our thoughts. You know, really choosing what we let take root in our minds.
We're the guardians of our own minds.
Exactly. Weeding out the negativity, just like you'd weed a garden to make space for the good stuff.
Oh, totally. I know I let things pile up sometimes, mentally speaking, you know.
We all do. But it's interesting how this lines up with modern psychology.
Yeah.
We're learning more and more how much all that unresolved negativity impacts us.
Oh, for sure.
Both mentally and physically.
Oh.
It's like Aurelius was onto something way back then, recognizing how important it is to really cultivate a clear mind.
It's like clearing out the clutter, right? And speaking of clearing out clutter, this reminds me of something else Aurelius talks about: time. He says the only time we really have VE is right now, the present.
Everything else is just a memory. Or what if?
Yeah, exactly.
He was all about mindfulness. Recognize that if we're always dwelling on the past or worrying about the future,
which is so easy to do.
It steals our focus.
Yeah.
Steals our energy from the only time we have any control. Right here, right now.
And think about it. How often are we afraid of things that haven't even happened yet? We get so worked up over these worst case scenarios in our heads, and they might never even happen.
It's like he's giving us permission to just let go of that worry. Focus on what's actually in front of us.
Easier said than done some days.
Absolutely. He's not saying to totally ignore the past or disregard the future, but just to recognize the power of right now. He even says that fame, something so many people chase after their whole lives, ultimately meaningless in the grand scheme of things.
It's a good reality check.
It is.
Okay, so no dwelling on the past or future. Be present. Be mindful. But how do we actually approach this present moment? What does Aurelius suggest we do with all this awareness? Well, he gives us a practice. It might sound simple at first, but it's actually, when you really get into it, pretty profound. Aurelius tells us to really embrace deep, objective observation.
It's about really becoming a student of our own lives, isn't it? Instead of just rushing through the day on autopilot, he wants us to really pause and look at what's in front of us and ask, what's the true use of this?
I love that question. What's the true use of this? Like, it's this superpower you can use to break down any situation or challenge you face, even just like a random object.
Right. Anything. It's about really engaging those critical thinking skills. Aurelius wants us to move beyond just surface level appearances.
Get to the heart of it.
Exactly. Understand the deeper nature of things, their purpose, their potential, how they fit into, the bigger picture of the universe. And when you start to do that, you become, less reactive and more intentional with your responses.
It's like he's giving us this mental tool,
Yeah.
We can use it to respond to life with more, wisdom. Like imagine you're facing a tough decision at work, right? Or maybe just dealing with a really challenging situation. You could stop and ask yourself, what's the true use of this moment? What's the opportunity here for me to learn or grow from this? And suddenly you're seeing things in this whole new light.
It's powerful stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And by understanding that why behind our experiences, we're less likely to get totally swept away by our emotions or, make decisions based on biases we don't even realize we have. It's about moving through the world with more clarity and purpose.
It's amazing to me how, for someone who lived over 2,000 years ago, Aurelius's advice is just so relevant to, our lives today. Really makes you think about how timeless these principles he was talking about really are.
He was dealing with a lot of the same questions we are today. How do we live a good life? How do we deal with stress? Uncertainty. How do we make sure our choices line up with our values? It's kind of remarkable that even though he was a Roman emperor, his insights into just being human, they feel so relatable.
He does. He makes you think. Out of everything we talked about today, I think what I'm going to take with me is that emphasis on the present moment. It's so easy to get caught up in the past, worry about what's coming in the future, but Aurelius just brings it back to, this is it. This is all we have.
It's a practice, that's for sure. Being more present, more mindful, it takes effort. But even if it's just for a few moments here and there, it can make a world of difference.
It can. Well, that's about all the time we have for today's deep dive. But before we go, listener, I have a little challenge for you. Something to think about, inspired by Marcus Aurelius himself. What will you observe more closely today? What true use will you discover in those little ordinary moments that make up your day? That's something to think about. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom, keep asking.
I stay composed in the face of adversity. I don't expose, I gotta still resolve. I never retreat, I embrace the struggle, I won't accept defeat. Step up. I keep my head high, never show despair. Step up, step up. I stay focused on my goals, on my grind, I'm aware. Step up, step up. I persevere through the pain and the strife. Step up, cause I'm a man of strength. I live this Stoic life. I'm unbreakable, unshakable. Yeah, through the storms I'm unbreakable, unshakable. I keep my mind steady, my heart cold as steel. I'm unbreakable, unshakable. I know it's wrong. In the forge of life, I'm the iron mode, stoic mindset, and my veins is gold. I'll face the challenges, never lose sight. Stoic manhood in a stoic fight. Head high, like a pillar of strength in a path of honor. I go to great lengths, pain and strife. I turn it to fuel in the stoic arena where virtue's rule. Step up, step up, step up, step up, step up, and step up. In the whispers of the wind, stoic echoes ring. I'm the architect of my fate, I build my own wings. I stand tall, unyielding like a stone. Stoic principles in every verse I've known. Goals in my focus in the grind, I'm aware. In the face of challenge, I declare. Through pain and strife, I navigate. A stoic man in the world I cultivate. I wear my scars like badges of pride. Yeah, in the stoic rhythm, I let the beat guide. Yeah. Never showing despair, never taking a dive. In the stoic anthem, I thrive. I'm unbreakable, unshakable. Through the storms, I'm unbreakable, unshakable. I keep my mind steady, my heart cold as steel. I'm unbreakable, unshakable. I know what's real.
Where would I like to go? Places I'd like to visit. Habits I'd like to acquire. Skills I'd like to have. Economics, friendships, people you'd like to meet. When you've thought about what you want for the future, make a list. If the future gets clear, the price gets easier. Because you got to remember, for every promise, there's a price to pay. Everybody's got to pay the price. Everybody's got to do the deal. Everybody's got to do the disciplines. But here's what I've discovered. If the promise is clear and powerful, the price is easy to pay. The price is some classes. The price is a few books. The price is a few disciplines. The price is finding something that'll make your life better, make you grow, make you change, make you develop. So the first part of the key is to design the promise. Then, what is the price to pay? I'm telling you, the price will be easy. If you'll make the promise of the future clear for yourself, all of the values of life that you could possibly want, and be serious about it, I promise you it's an easy price to pay. Anybody can pay it. And the best advice I can give you is, if I can do it, you can do it. Start setting your goals and see if you can't get a better excitement going for the things you want to accomplish for the future. One of the major reasons for setting goals is for what they make of you in achieving them. My teacher advised me when I first got started at age 25. He said, Jim, why don't you set a goal to become a millionaire? I'm here to help you. And he said, here's why. For what it will make of you to achieve it. Set the kind of goals that will make something of you to achieve it. So part of the key here is to set the kind of goals that will make something of you. Don't set them too low so that you don't have to grow and you don't have to...
It's best to leave things at the right time. Otherwise, you are left with too many regrets and complaints. You cannot change the past, but you can shape your future by learning from it.
The way is not in the sky, the way is in the heart. Buddha.
A calm sea will not make you a skilled sailor. Everything is hard before it is easy.
To realize your dreams, you must first imagine them as if they have already been fulfilled. Neville Goddard.
Is my reason and understanding sufficient for this, or no? If it be sufficient, without any private applause or public ostentation, as of an instrument, which by nature I am provided of, I will make use of it for the work in hand, as of an instrument, which by nature I am provided of. If it be not, and that otherwise it belong not unto me, particularly as a private duty, I will either give it over, and leave it to some other that can better effect it, or I will endeavor it, but with the help of some other, who with the joint help of my reason is able to bring somewhat to pass that will now be seasonable and useful for the common good. For whatsoever I do either by myself or with some other, the only thing that I must intend is that it be good and expedient for the public. For as for praise, consider how many who once were much commended are now already quite forgotten, yea, they that commended them, how even they themselves are long since dead and gone. Be not therefore ashamed whensoever thou must use the help of others. For whatsoever it be that lieth upon thee to effect, thou must propose it unto thyself, as the scaling of walls is unto a soldier. And what if thou through either lameness or some other impediment art not able to reach unto the top of the battlements alone, which with the help of another thou mayst? Wilt thou therefore give it over, or go about it with less courage and alacrity, because thou canst not effect it all alone?
That people need, and you got to give it to them regularly. Like, thank God on Monday for the last 8 years. You just got to keep giving it to them. And the first year, nothing. The second year, nothing. The third year, a little something. The fourth year, a little bit more. By the fifth year, boom, you're a household name. You got to be intentional and deliberate, whether you're making money or not making money. You got to decide that you're going to do something, and you got to do it every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday. The problem with some of you in this room, you're not intentional and deliberate. You're a good person that just hopes the good stuff is going to happen to you. So you need to be on Facebook, because Facebook, they're not just good people. They do the analytics and tell you who's watching your stuff and who's not watching it. They give you the numbers. Hear what I'm saying? If you are intentional and deliberate. So I wake up every single day. See, I don't care what country I'm in. I don't care how long we've been on the flight. I don't care what our schedule is. What time do I wake up every day, see? Okay, when we were in Poland, what time did I wake up? Okay, what about England? What about Australia? Are you hearing what I'm saying? I'm intentional and deliberate. I don't care what time zone we on. I just sent my family the time. I'm in New Zealand. I'm looking at what time it is at home and said yesterday. I said yesterday. I like this. I need to be a betting man. I said it's yesterday? Negative 18 hours. I'm still getting up at the exact same time. CJ, did we work out since we've been here? We just finished working out. How long did I run on the treadmill? Nothing changes. Nothing changes, guys. I'm very intentional. And some of you could be you'd be so much better if you just didn't leave things a chance. Eric, what are you saying? I thought you were a man of faith. I am. Faith without works is dead.
If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Learn to heal without venting to everyone to avoid disappointment. The purpose of life is finding the largest burden that you can bear and bearing it. Jordan Peterson. If they don't appreciate you, they don't deserve you. You cannot wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club.
The only limit to your impact is your imagination and commitment. Tony Robbins.
Book 3, Chapter 22. About cynicism. When one of his pupils inquired of Epictetus, and he was a person who appeared to be inclined to cynicism, what kind of person a cynic ought to be, and what was the notion of the thing, "We will inquire," said Epictetus, "at leisure. But I have so much to say to you that he who without God attempts so great a matter is hateful to God, and has no other purpose than to act indecently in public. For in any well-managed house no man comes forward and says to himself, 'I ought to be manager of the house.' If he does so, the master turns round and, seeing him insolently giving orders, drags him forth and flogs him. So it is also in this great city. For here also there is a master of the house who orders everything. You are the sun. You can, by going round, make the year and seasons, and make the fruits grow and nourish them, and stir the winds and make them remit, and warm the bodies of men properly. Go, travel round, and so administer things from the greatest to the least. You are a calf. When a lion shall appear, do your proper business. If you do not, you will suffer. You are a bull. Advance and fight, for this is your business and becomes you, and you can do it. You can lead the army against Ilium. Be Agamemnon. You can fight in single combat against Hector. Be Achilles. But if Thersites came forward and claimed the command, he would either not have obtained it, or if he did obtain it, he would have disgraced himself before many witnesses. Do you also think about the matter carefully? It is not what it seems to you. I wear a cloak now, and I shall wear it then. I sleep hard now, and I shall sleep hard then. I will take in addition a little bag now and a staff, and I will go about and begin to beg and to abuse those whom I